Welcome back to Direction Within, where we grow from the inside out. If you're new here, consider subscribing and sharing this with someone who might need it. Let's dive in. Low self-esteem isn't just a mood or a moment of doubt. It's a deeply rooted self-perception, shaped by years of experiences, conditioning, and internal narratives. To change it, we first need to understand where it comes from. Most people don't wake up one day and think, "I'm not good enough." That belief grows over time. From harsh parenting, constant criticism, rejection, comparison, bullying, or failure. These moments plant seeds of unworthiness that we carry into adulthood, silently shaping how we view ourselves and how we interact with the world. When someone struggles with low self-esteem, they often experience persistent self-doubt, fear of judgment, difficulty setting boundaries, and chronic people-pleasing. It's not that they're weak, they're just carrying unhealed emotional weight. But here's the good news. Self-esteem is not fixed. It's not a genetic trait or a life sentence. It's a skill that can be developed, just like learning a language or training a muscle. And that journey begins with awareness. Start by paying attention to your self-talk. What words do you say to yourself when you make a mistake? How do you speak about your goals, your looks, your potential? Would you say those things to someone you love? That internal voice, often inherited from others, needs a reboot. If you want to overcome low self-esteem, you must begin by rejecting old, harmful narratives and creating space for a new, empowered identity. The journey to healthy self-esteem doesn't begin with motivational quotes or external achievements. It starts with self-awareness, the courageous act of looking inward without judgment. Ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? What do I value? What makes me feel alive? What drains me? Most people with low self-esteem struggle because they live by other people's definitions of worth, societies, families, or social medias. Rebuilding self-esteem requires defining your own standards of value. One powerful self-development tool is journaling. Take 10 minutes a day to write what you feel and why. Over time, patterns will emerge. You'll begin to see what triggers your insecurity and what strengthens your confidence. Another foundational step is identifying your core beliefs. Many people unconsciously believe things like, "I'm not smart enough," "I'm not attractive," or "I always mess things up." These beliefs operate in the background, sabotaging growth and happiness. To fight back, you need to challenge and reframe these beliefs. For example, if your inner voice says, "I always fail," ask, "Is that really true? What are some examples where I succeeded?" Even small wins count, and stacking these wins helps shift your internal story. As you build this habit, something powerful happens. You stop living reactively and start responding to life with clarity and intention. This is where self-development really kicks in. You're no longer a passive recipient of life. You're becoming an active designer of your identity. Now that you've begun developing self-awareness and challenging old beliefs, the next step is aligned action. Doing things that reinforce your new identity, even when you don't feel 100% ready. Low self-esteem thrives in inaction. When we procrastinate, avoid challenges, or stay in our comfort zones, we silently reinforce the belief that we're incapable. But confidence grows from evidence. Action is that evidence. Start small. What's one thing you've been avoiding because you didn't think you were good enough or ready? It could be speaking up in meetings, starting a blog, going to the gym, or simply saying no when you mean it. Take one step toward that goal, even a small one, and follow through. That's where self-esteem gets built, not in thinking, but in doing. Even if the result isn't perfect, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you showed up for yourself. That's what creates real confidence. Also, learn to celebrate your effort, not just your outcomes. Most people only feel worthy when they succeed, but you can flip the script. Acknowledge the bravery in trying and showing up despite fear or doubt. Another powerful practice is keeping promises to yourself. When you say you'll do something, no matter how small, and actually do it, you signal to your subconscious, I'm trustworthy. I believe in myself. Over time, that trust becomes the bedrock of your self-esteem. Remember, self-development is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more of who you already are, minus the fear, conditioning, and self-doubt. Most people think self-esteem is about appearing strong, never showing weakness, always having the answer, always looking put together. But that's a myth. In truth, real self-esteem is rooted in authenticity, being fully yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. And the gateway to authenticity is vulnerability. When you allow yourself to be seen, flaws, fears, imperfections, and all, you tell your inner world, I'm worthy, not because I'm perfect, but because I'm real. That shift is powerful. Avoiding vulnerability, hiding behind masks, or trying to be what others expect may protect your ego short-term, but long-term, it chips away at your confidence. Why? Because deep down, you know you're not being true to yourself. Embrace the moments where you want to hide and choose honesty instead. If you're scared, admit it. If you don't know something, say it. If you're struggling, share it with someone you trust. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage in action. One practice that can help here is authentic journaling or voice recording, speaking freely without censorship. Let your thoughts flow without worrying how they sound. Over time, you'll learn to accept your inner voice as it is, not as it should be. Another tool is self-compassion. Talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a friend. When you make a mistake, don't say, I'm so stupid. Say, I'm human. I'm learning. This is part of growth. That's not sugarcoating. That's inner kindness, and it rewires your brain over time. The more you practice authenticity, the more you realize you don't need to be someone else to be enough. You just need to be more you. Self-esteem isn't just an emotional experience. It's also built on daily structure and meaningful habits that support the person you're becoming. When you feel lost, uncertain, or not good enough, having consistent routines gives you anchors, reminders that you are in control of your life and capable of shaping your future. Here's the truth. Your habits quietly tell your mind what kind of person you are. If your daily actions are scattered, self-sabotaging, or avoidant, your self-esteem slowly erodes. But when your habits are aligned with your values, even in small ways, your inner confidence grows. Start by identifying a few non-negotiables that reflect self-respect. These don't have to be complex. For example, waking up and making your bed each day. Drinking water first thing in the morning. Reading or listening to something that uplifts you. Moving your body, even if just for 10 minutes. Saying no to things that drain your energy. Each of these is a small deposit in your self-worth bank. Over time, they compound. And every time you follow through, you prove to yourself, I matter. My time matters. My goals matter. Also, keep your environment clean and intentional. A cluttered space reflects and reinforces a cluttered mind. You don't need a perfect space, just one that supports peace and clarity. And don't forget about digital hygiene. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Choose what you feed your mind just as carefully as what you feed your body. Lastly, reward yourself for showing up, not just for achieving big goals. Give yourself credit for doing that morning walk, writing in your journal, or saying something kind to yourself. These micro wins build macro confidence. Now that we've explored mindset shifts, vulnerability, and habit building, it's time to bring everything together with a daily self-esteem framework. A way of thinking and living that makes self-worth your default. At the core of it all is this: stop outsourcing your worth. That means no longer depending on likes, validation, praise, or attention to feel like you matter. Because the truth is, if the world goes silent, you still need to know you're enough. So how do you become your own source of worth? Start with morning check-ins. Even just 2 minutes. Look in the mirror and speak kindly to yourself. Not affirmations you don't believe, but real acknowledgments, like, I'm trying, and that matters. I'm not perfect, but I'm growing. I'm proud of myself for showing up again today. Next, practice emotional neutrality. When things go wrong, don't spiral into self-judgment. Instead of, I failed, so I'm a failure, say, this didn't work. What can I learn? Growth-focused thinking is a self-esteem superpower. Another practice is self-auditing. Ask yourself at the end of the day, did I honor my boundaries? Did I speak up when it mattered? Did I act in line with my values? If the answer is no, don't beat yourself up. Just adjust. Self-esteem isn't about perfection. It's about self-honesty and course correction. Also, learn to sit with discomfort. When you're tempted to distract yourself with social media, food, or overworking, pause. Ask, what am I trying not to feel? And just breathe through it. Every time you do, you teach your nervous system resilience. And finally, celebrate the internal wins. Not the awards, not the praise, not the applause. Celebrate when you stay true to yourself, when you show up scared, when you set a boundary, or when you rest without guilt. Because that's real growth. And that's how self-esteem becomes not something you chase, but something you live.